Hey, you! Thank you so much for tuning in for the latest episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. My name is SlowpokeFelitos. I'm a part-time streamer, part-time alcoholic, a seasonal Catholic, an official Lego Build license holder, and the host of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. And before we actually dive into our latest episode with Jerrytje, I gotta give you guys a special thank you from the bottom of my heart for making the previous episode with the one and only life hack break over 100 plus viewerships. A first time ever here in the House of Slowpokes in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series as well. So thank you guys so much for making that all possible, for loving the content, for believing in the content, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Look, I'm all jabbering on the emotions and the roller coasters of a ride that you guys have been showing here for the podcast show series. So thank you guys so much. But alas, we have Jerrytje stepping up to the plate. Him detailing about what it's like to be involved in a hate raid, people talking smack about him, and him having that thick skin to be putting that just that toughness, and showing also what it means being inspired by two specific people in his life that almost shed me a couple tears. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. The support the system is being talked about too as well. The follow for follows, leaving people's discs, all that and more with the latest episode with Jerrytje. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of this week's episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Once again, if you guys didn't hear from the intro, my name is SlowpokeFelitos, and with our special guest here for this week, we have none other than Jerrytje stopping by the podcast show. Jerry, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Initially, when I wanted to start up season 2, I just had to have you on here. I know you've heard me religiously tell you how beautiful of a voice you happen to have, and such stories that you actually tell during your streams, even when you're gaming all the time and such, but you still have the pause, the moments of being able to actually tell us your tales, and you're fortunate sometimes you have these stories that you wind up telling, and I get lost in them after a while, and if you don't believe me, we're going to be telling these stories here on today's episode. But Jerry, I am so glad to have you on here. Let me just, right off the bat, let everyone here know who you are and what streaming platform you are on.
Well, I'm Jerrytje, but you guys can all call me Jerry. TJE was basically a minor mistake, but I'm on Twitch, on twitch.tv/JerryTje.
Yeah. Jerry, you did mention just right now that Jerrytje was a mistake or an error? Well,
yeah.
What?
Well,
tell us, man.
You know that moment that you're doing things too fast and not paying fully attention to what you're doing?
Happens all the time, yes.
Yeah, so I got my initial PlayStation 3 back then, so you can go online.
Right.
And it was putting your name, and I was like, Jerrytje. It's for my PlayStation name, I don't care. But apparently PlayStation was like, hey, we're gonna do your online name first. And well, that got stuck actually. So basically I entered Jerrytje, which translated in Dutch actually means Lil Jerry, but I'm 6'6".
Well, so, if it had something to stand for, what would TJE stand for?
The first thing that comes to mind are not appropriate at all.
Then we'll keep it at Jerry. We'll keep it just to Jerry for the rest of the show here.
Sure, let's do that.
I know, I believe you shared this with me, but I would love people to hear the beginnings of you streaming here on Twitch. It's a little bit different more than others. Can you please share with us how you actually started off with streaming here on Twitch, man?
First of all, it started actually with sharing it with friends, because one of my best friends from the UK, I know this guy since the first Call of Duty you could play online. We met online, and basically he never left. We're still playing till this day, and he has fibromyalgia. His name is rectomed_. Okay. I just want to throw that out there because he's a good guy and he deserves it. But fibromyalgia is a rare disease that basically he cannot work anymore. He's mostly homebound. He can go for strolls, but he's in immense pain. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, my wife/girlfriend does everything in the house, takes care of the kids and the dog, and I can't even freaking provide anymore. And I was like, dude, apparently Twitch is a big thing. If you start streaming, I'll do it too, and I'll try to get my viewers to you as much as I can, just to get you that bar. one, he's funny. He knows how to play well. He did some few YouTube clips about Destiny 2, making some serious speed runs in there for certain missions, and like he's a god in some games.
Right.
And yeah, I really wanted him to grow in that and still feel like the man, so to speak, so he can provide for himself and not be dependent on somebody else.
Right.
That was the reason I started, and he actually had to stop streaming for a while because he was too tired or had too much pain.
Oh man.
And I stopped a little bit as well, but I was like, after work, put on a stream because I'm playing anyway, so why not put it on? And that's actually how it popped off. And still to this day, if he starts streaming again, if I can, I will always raid into him, and not to be an asshole to anybody else like you or the Mackay and everything.
Sure.
Like, I would raid into him first.
Right, and I think that's not even that's totally the opposite of acting of selfishly. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's a really wonderful, a good deed in a sense, to be able to do that for your friend for so many years, and even then, still be willing to, like, even after all these years, still be willing to do that for him. And I believe he's really grateful just for that. I mean, like, you sticking around. I mean, like, the less mobility that he can do and the less activities he can actually do, like outside of streaming or outside of the house or whatnot, but you still managed to be there for him, whether it's a shoulder to cry on or like just anything that needs to vent out, even play games, just shoot the shits and like whatever it is. And that's really wonderful deed, Jerry. And I see that a lot from you, from just hanging out. And you mentioned her earlier too, the Mad Kai and myself, where I believe at one point too, mentioning about how influences like us have carried you over through streaming too as well, and a little bit of motivation to keep on streaming here, right?
True. Like, I had a few moments that I was like, thanks to Recnomed as well, and some friends that I met through him, I got my affiliate about a year ago. And after that, everybody just bounced out because they all came through them, and they rarely pop back in.
Right.
And he was like, "You dude, go on Twitch and search for some streams." And for some reason, I ended up with the Mad Kai. And it directly popped off, as you know. Like, I was there like most of the time and met Zero and everybody else that we played today with. And yeah, you guys definitely kept me going, because I had a lot of times I was like, why should I even keep streaming? Like, what is it worth? What is it doing for me?
Right. That self satisfaction, right?
True. Like, if you see the other podcasts you have, like, everybody is talking about their anxiety problems or how streaming helps them with the outside world. Yeah. For me, basically, it's not streaming. It's gaming. Like, I used to work in the kitchen for at least 10 hours a day till 18 hours a day, depending on how busy it is. And then just to wind back and play a game felt so good. And like I said, you're playing, so why not put on the cam? Like, back in the day, it was just put on the Twitch from PlayStation and you just play. And if somebody watches, like, hey.
That is true. And I'm glad that you brought up her name, the Bad Guy. She's also a streamer here on Twitch. And fun fact, she was actually one of the very few people that I actually started following over on Twitch. And I have garnered so much influence of ideas and like motivation and keeping track of like what it is to become an actual Twitch streamer. And I think a lot of us do lose ourselves where we don't want to think of it as a business, because after a while, when you see yourself actually earning some revenue and once you become affiliate, it's like, where do you go from there? And for you, Jerry, I know you mentioned about hitting affiliate about a year ago. Has it been a struggle to keep that within the algorithm of Twitch, where you have to have the average viewers, you have to keep up with the follows, you have to keep up with the average numbers of streaming? Has that ever been like a struggle for you?
Yeah, at the beginning, when you're on your way to affiliate, it is definitely a struggle, and especially if you don't know anyone. If I'm gonna lie, if I'm saying that I don't do it now for the views and everything, like, yeah, sure, at the end you will quickly take a peek, like, how much did I do? Like, for example, just before I stopped streaming just to get into this call with you, because I appreciate that so much. Like I could go for 2 more hours, but you know what? It's fun for the day, and we're gonna have a nice call with Slowpoke.
Right.
It's setting priorities, and it's basically like in general life. So yeah, now occasionally I watch, and it was like, okay, I had 2 viewers for like an entire hour and a half, and some people just came back in. I had an average of 10 people watching me at one point. I know it's not much, but hey, for me personally, my average is stably going up, and then you do start to realize, like, hey, what am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Some people will hate me for it, but
Sure.
then again, if you see that the strike they had a few weeks ago about everything that's going wrong with Twitch.
Yeah, there was a moment where a lot of people banded together through the Twitch community and taking off a day off of Twitch. That happened not that long ago, where they had to choose a specific day to get off of Twitch, to mostly to speak out for like these hate raids and targeting the LGBTQ communities and like just bullying and such. Did you take a part of that?
Well, I had to do my night shift, and so I couldn't stream.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you this, like, I would have streamed.
Okay.
Why? A lot of people will take a break. At the end, Twitch is still getting their money, so it doesn't make any sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt them. So the only persons you hit is your own viewer count.
Right.
If you look at it businessly, as a business.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, if you want to grow and you want to get better, you just stream it.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I am agreeing with what's happening with the LGBTQ community, or hate rates on colored people, or whatever. No. But I think that's on you. If you spread that in your stream, that's on you. Like, remember Mother's Day?
Sure.
Like, you came in, happy Mother's Day. I'm like, hey, appreciate it, but I don't do that. Because I know there are people who lost their mom, lost their dad, never met them, or like myself, I lost touch with my mom because sometimes it doesn't work out.
Right.
So I'm staying away from that, because so that people who want to get into a certain stream without getting the reminder every time. And I think that's the same with the LGBTQ community and the racism and everything. Like, if you give into that for 1 inch, that's on you.
Right.
And it doesn't have anything to, well, of course it has something to do with Twitch, but not in a full way.
For the time being, I think for that moment of statement, for people actually taking I took the day off of it. For one, I did have to go to work, you know what I mean? But second of all, I think if I did happen to have the choice to actually stream or not, I probably wouldn't. And just the reasons being is that, like, it's almost, to me personally, that, like, for example, these hate raids may target at someone where they're probably suffering through a mental health, or in a state where, like, those hate comments could potentially end someone's life, because they might
True.
accept that the theory of, like, oh, people really just coming by and hate, like, I'm doing anything wrong, or like, am I even worth doing this stuff? And that's probably why I would stand up for that kind of situation.
I can fully understand that, and that's why I said, like, everybody has their own stream, so that is what you have in your own hands. But then again, like you said, with the hate rates, and we talked about it like a few days ago prior to this,
Right.
And I had a hate rate once. I had a hate rate come in, and there's 4 or 5 people that just starting to say, I'm an asshole, I'm a dick, I should stop streaming, I'm worth nothing. And I was like, yeah, I know. My mom told me this already, so what's your problem?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I'm harsh. I'm hard for myself, but I'm very nice to everybody else. And I'm like, but please, if you target me, I'm good. I can handle that.
Right.
But I appreciate you if you guys would leave, or at least leave the chat alone. And some were starting already to pick on chat, and well, 3 of my mods were already in there. And you know I can be salty, and well, basically, one is an IRL friend, one is somebody I met online as well. Two I met online, but they are just as salty, and they just got rid of the whole damn thing in 2 minutes by just blasting off at them. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do nothing.
This is out of my hands. This is beyond me.
That's also a thing with Twitch. You are a point of interest. Like, people are gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
People want to vent with you, or they want to share happy thoughts with you.
Yeah.
How would you react?
Exactly.
And like, people don't understand that. Well, most understand, but not everybody understands that at the end, we're just you behind a screen that are willing to share our face while we're playing a game. Like I said, I can handle a lot of stuff, like, no problem. But there are also people who cannot take hardships that other people need to vent out in their stream, even though it's not on purpose. But people forget that that might also hurt you in a way. Like, not everybody, how do you say it? Like, it's taking your work home with you.
Right.
You stop your stream and somebody just said, for example, their granny died. For me, yeah, right, you know, sorry, that sucks. I hope you feel well soon. And as soon as I turn off the cam, I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day. Of course, I will contact the person if it's somebody who's in the Discord or longer in the stream, just to reach out.
Yeah.
But I might sound like a dick right now. And a
No, I mean,
one,
just speaking the way you would, you know, have it where a situation where someone were to like come by and like, you know, almost throw their baggage at you in a sense, but like.
It's true, but at the end, I don't care. Like, everybody has their own hardships, and
yeah,
of course we listen. But that's why I said, like, it might be me right now, but I don't care. But I do care about you, so I would reach out. But at the end, for me, I wouldn't sleep worse about it. Like, I would still have my night's rest, and I'm all good. I know that a lot of people will go to bed and be like, oh man, that kid is really feeling it, and now I can't sleep. No, that's not me. Like, I'm being honest at that point, and I will reach out to the people. But like I said, at the end, we are just the same people, but sharing our face on the screen. And I think that's a part that a lot of people don't realize when they watch Twitch. Like, oh, it's somebody who makes money just playing games and being all fancy. Nah, we're all humans at the end.
A lot of it does actually end up being lost in the whole structure of, like, you know what, instant chatting right away, instant like replies, and like being able to like communicate with the actual streamer on camera, live in person.
Yep.
But there should be a moment in time where people should realize that, you know what, almost like reading the room in a sense, like, you know what, I don't want to throw in too much, but you know what, this is what's happening, and then from there, maybe if you have time afterwards, let's talk about it and stuff. I've said this all the time in my streams. I've said this all the time to my anywhere that you can find me on social media, that like, if you happen to have any problems, any like thoughts, or like venting, a shoulder to cry on, like, let me know. Like, my Instagram DMs are always open, and that's just for that, you know. When it comes to streaming, like how I mentioned earlier, it's mostly for people to lose themselves. Kind of like when you watch a Netflix show. When you watch an episode, you're like, oh, I'm entertained for 30 minutes or an hour. Let's keep it going. There have been times where people have actually have vented out or lashing out over on other social media platforms, saying, hey, you know what, you shouldn't be venting on or bringing your baggage over to the streams. You're killing the vibes and such like that. There should be always a batter to redirect people that way, because you just never know. And I think, Jerry, you've probably been in this situation before where, like, you just never know who you are inspiring, who someone might be looking up to, that one person that might be waiting for you to tune in, where like, oh, you know what, I cannot wait to him for just to talk to you. That's wonderful feelings, right?
No, there was one, and that actually hit hard. One of my first followers that actually came natural from my streams, was RJ Ames. Is also one of my mods now, and her nephew has leukemia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she actually asked me, like, hey, do you mind if he before I knew this, like if he plays with us, I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, hey, I don't care if I got more people playing with me. It's all good.
Yeah.
And we had a great time. We played some Fortnite and just messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And till this day, I still ask like almost on a weekly, or at least a monthly base, or every few weeks, like, hey, how's he doing? His name is Sam.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, how's Sam doing? And yeah, good. And he really wants to play with you again. Like, hey, when you get the time and when I'm on, even when I'm offline and I got the time, just let me know and I will play, because that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, he's really fond of your streams and the way how I approach things, apparently.
Yeah.
And for him battling and still being that positive is so different to me. It brings for me a lot of respect for me to that guy. That kept me going with streaming, and then helping my friend Reknomet as far as I can with helping him get some extra views off me.
Yeah.
Sure, I would be the first one to do that, like whenever.
Your niche is not promoting, it's not, being on actively on social media, but what you're really good at is, playing games and keeping people attentive and tuning in and just like relaxing, chilling.
Thanks, man. I appreciate to hear that. Like, and again, that's not how I see myself. It's the same that you said. Like, I would have probably a great stream voice, good at telling stories. I don't hear it, but I do highly appreciate you saying stuff like that.
That is essentially why I wanted you here on the season 2 for the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, because I feel like with our conversation we can really dive into a bunch of stuff where people don't really want to talk about these things because they probably walk on eggshells and they're like, I'm too comfortable with what I have right now, so I don't want to get into any beef with anybody or any trouble and such. But these are things that really need to get talked about, like the follow for follow situations where people dive into the very first when they're streaming. Like for me, for example, I believed in that follow for follow formula when I first started streaming. I figured, I'll probably help with the fluctuating numbers and such, and like maybe that's how people on Twitch gravitate and network. I believed in the whole support for support, because that already has a stigma as it is, where like it's like, oh, you know what, I'll give you a follow, you follow me back, and then like, oh, you sub to me, I sub to you back, and it's like, well, that's not the way that I work. But I mean, you see it differently, correct?
Yeah, well, you changed my opinion a little bit. Like,
okay,
I didn't go for the follow. Like, I thought it was the biggest BS that you could find. But the way you did it is because you are like a genuine person. Like, you would go and follow somebody because you want to follow somebody and give them the help and the appreciation that they need.
Right.
And again, like, it's gonna be a new catchphrase. Like, I don't mind being the asshole, but hey, I'm gonna check out your stream. If I like it, you get a follow, sure. But if you're just ranting all over the place, like, I know I can rant a lot sometimes. I'm sorry. But if you're gonna do it on purpose, like for no freaking reason, come on, dude. Especially like leaning towards hatred, I'm like, sorry. It was fun being in your stream, but I'm gonna back out for now. I have a notebook, and I got names written in there that were decent enough to follow. That piqued my attention, but I just backed out because there was something off. And if I occasionally go back just to check if I was right, yes or no, and do I want them being associated with the community I'm making?
Yeah.
Because if I do, that would also mean that it would associate with your community and the Math Guys community and everybody else that I met through all of you.
Right.
Because you can say whatever you want, but the people that I'm connected with, and most of them, are all on the same level. Maybe not for ideas on their streams, but everybody is appreciative and respectful to who is in their stream and how they stream. and it's just one big chill vibe. So I'm always thinking, not for myself, but also for what would it do for the rest. So yeah, follow for follow. In your point of view that you had, it was definitely a good idea because it was about appreciation and giving back towards others.
The only stigma that comes with that is that, like, with the support for support situation, where people really see it where, like, you know what, I give you a follow, give me that follow back, and then they use this tactic where, like, you follow them, they follow you back, and probably within a couple weeks later they unfollow you, so that to hopefully that you have forgotten about this person, so that way they keep that number tab higher than yours.
Not even within a few weeks. Some actually after a few minutes already.
Oh, really?
Because your Streamlabs will still show it that they gave you that follow.
That is right.
But as soon as you go into your stream manager and you go to your followers list, wouldn't be in there anymore. And I nearly fell for that as well in the beginning. Like, I did a few, and some actually sticked, thank God, and there were a few that backed out, but those will also stop streaming. So I don't have a bad experience with it. But now, seeing the follow for follow, I'm like, yo, go. But you also didn't call it follow for follow. You, like you just said, called it support for support.
Right.
And that's giving a whole different dimension to what you're doing. But the sub for a sub, no, man. Like, there are people trying to make a living out of Twitch because they cannot make a regular living, or they don't want to, or whatever. I don't care. But they don't have the financial means to give somebody else a sub. I've been in that position. I am in that position on occasion still. So I'm choosing who to sub. Like, why would I give 30 people a sub just to get the 30 subs back? Then I can just keep it for myself.
Many people,
and I could invest it in a new game.
Many people just lose sight of that, and they love when their name pops up on their stream. They get that almost that little high of satisfaction, and I feel like that's how it is with a lot of people. When, like, you know what, they love their name standing on the board of their streams and such like that, and they get that satisfaction, that little high. And I believe with that, people really, like, need to wind down and look back in the retrospective, like, you know what, like, yeah, you know what, this doesn't make sense. I'm giving my money for the it's like, what are we doing here?
That's the same. Like, you also know that at the top of your chat bar you have those nice icons, that top cheers, top biddies, top subs, gifters.
Yeah.
I put it on all time. Like, I don't want people to make it a race a month. Like, hey, it's just to show the appreciation about who gave that much. You don't need to give me that. It is for you, so you don't have the freaking commercials. But I do appreciate it. But it's not a necessity for me. Like, I have my job and I'm streaming because I like gaming. And if I, like you said, I can help somebody out or somebody needs to vent, I'm there. You
make it work where the gaming wise aspect, you let people come by the streams if they want to play games with you, like in Call of Duty and such. Like, you actually open the door for them. You're like, hey, come on in, let's play a couple rounds.
Yeah. And fun fact, today actually on Twitter, before the stream, there was someone, and she was like, hey, everybody said I'm trash at Apex. I'm like, hey, I'm trash. I don't care. I'm trash too. But if you want to play, let's go. Well, that's it. And she just reached out and she gave me the Discord, and I just went to the Discord and, like, I'm gonna start with Destiny, but if you want to play, let me know. She's like, yeah, I'm not sure. No rush. Like, let me know when, and when I get the time, I'll try and join in. I also highly believe that if you're having fun with what you do, people will see that you're having fun with what you're doing. Like I said before, me raging at Call of Duty, they see it's genuine, but they also see that I get a big ego boost when I get that 6 kill streak, and being like, what are you guys doing? I just got 6. Come on, let's go. But you have that controversy, like being happy, being ragey, but still they see you're enjoying it. and me not popping off at every single thing like, oh, that's bad. No, I'm just enjoying and I'm giving off on the moment what happens. And that's a natural reaction.
As it should be.
Yeah, exactly. When things break down, I don't start to stress or to panic. Like, ah, shit, it happened again. 1 sec. Or when the most thing that happened now is when I tap my mic by accident or the cable, my stream would go on mute for my mic. And somebody was like, hey, you're 2 minutes quiet. All right, it was the mic again. Let me just redo everything. It might happen again in a few seconds, but give me a bit and it's done. And so every technical difficulty and stuff like that or like even like people, you can handle easily. So for me, the mental health aspect is not there, but of course, especially with this corona period, like it's not my mental health, but it's also your mental health, like the people who are coming to my stream. And that's why you stay positive for. If I would be sad and I'm like, hey, I said I would stream, I would stream crying if necessary. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like, I'm a guy, like, if I make a promise, I'll keep my promise. And like, again, for mental health, I'm good, but I can get that it's definitely necessary for people to be on stream to help with their mental health, to work with anxiety problems, to work with trust issues even.
If I could put a spin on mental health when it comes to streaming, I guess you've already I got the feeling with the hospitality and like, you know, like with the technical issues and such like that, you're like, you kind of already have that like set, like it's not going to phase you one bit. But if content wise for the stream or for your Twitch channel in general, does it ever affect you at all where you're just like, you know what, I don't think I have it in me, what am I doing wrong, or like, is there something I can do better? Has it ever come to a point in time for you, Jerry?
Of course, like as open as I am right now and as I always am, I am insecure as a small child of 6. Like, it's all new, and am I doing the right things? Am I attractive enough to be on stream? Am I good enough to be on stream? Am I well versed enough to be on stream? And even in my stream itself, like, oh shit, I'm not talking too much, I need to say something. It's a constant up and down, but that's more of me trying to be active in this than that it's a real issue. Like, my uncertainty is more personally for me and my body itself, but not for my stream and not for me at my job. Like, the best example I can give you is how I met my ex. My ex was working with me in the kitchen. While she was doing breakfast, I was working in the kitchen as a breakfast chef at that point. Okay. And we started joking around, and well, she had a boyfriend. One thing led to another. He was apparently rude to her kid, which, again, I'm the good guy on occasions, not always, but you don't mess with kids. So
no, period.
There was a switch turned right there, and she was kind of impressed. And I was like, yeah, that's who I am, you know, like. And she just started dating with me. I'm like, where did this came from? Like, I don't get this. Yeah. And it's the same with my stream. Like, people came in, I'm like, why? I appreciate it. But and she was like, how can you be so talkative when you're at work? And the first time we went for a date, sort of, I was quiet. She's like, you're talking all day freaking at work about everything. You're talking to me about the kids, you're talking to me about weekends away, you're talking to me about doing fun things, you talk about work, you talk about food. And now we're together and you're silent. I'm like, yeah, That's my issue right there. Like, same with stream. I can talk to you. I can talk to everybody.
Yeah.
If there's some certain persons near me, I would just like black out. It's a thing.
Like the lights on, but no one's home in a sense.
Exactly.
A lot of times where if we have one of your specific close friends and stuff like that being on stream to help you guide you through, like, you are doing something right, and like more of like,
No. My friends are the biggest assholes you can meet.
I try not to be a dick to you, Jerry. Come on now.
Nah, like you said, because you said like my oldest friends, like Regnamed and Mr. Murdoch.
Yeah.
They are good guys and awesome mods, but they make my life a living hell on occasion. And yeah, I can laugh at it, but not everybody is fortunate enough to have also those kind of friends. That's also what keeps you sane. Like having good friends, having a good community around you, people reaching out to you on occasions, even if it's not necessary. Yeah, and for me, streaming, mental health, also with like the follow for follow, like on occasion there was a good one. And you keep on pushing, like even if you don't know you're doing it, you just keep on going, because be real, like it as well, like it can be addictive as hell.
Well, having your phone glued to your hand 90% of your day, seeing what the latest tweet is, the latest tag, the latest post, video, such, it comes with the negative aspects as a streamer, and I feel like even more now, because you're wanting to interact with more people now, especially like how you mentioned just a bit ago with the whole pandemic, where it was very troubling to make friends and such, and a lot of with that mental state of like being secluded, being not able to talk to people and stuff like that. Streaming, I believe, has helped you connect with a lot more people than you would really even thought of to begin with. You know what I mean?
True, it's true. I met so many new people, and I'm grateful for them all. But at the same time, and that's my luck, I have to say, I can also be a perfect loner. Like, I don't mind being all alone at home on the couch with my dog and my cat, just watching movies all day. I wouldn't sweat over it, right? But when I have a chance to meet up with friends, sure. Like, I owe my best friends still an apology for not dropping by in the last year. We text almost every day, but our game nights went down the hill. We would, like you said, you would go to the cinemas, or like watching AEW, or just a movie by yourself.
Yeah.
We had a regular routine of going on every freaking Monday to the movies. Every Monday. Can you believe it?
Yeah, no, just life happens, and we're growing, and we kind of need that, like, financially having a stable job, because streaming might not be that for us quite yet. I mean, sure, it could probably pay a bill or two, maybe, perhaps, or like maybe it could be like revenue for a cup of coffee. But I mean, that's something where it's barely getting by. So I think for now, for life in general, like having a full-time job and having a stable where you're going to be able to hopefully financially make this some type of a revenue one of these days.
I had 2 revenues so far. And the thing I did with the first one, I just put a poll in Discord, I poll in Twitter, and to certain people, like the highest donation at that point, because I think it was like about 20 gifted subs that I got.
Whoa! Okay.
I was like, you guys are nuts. Also, what I got trolled before I got that, and people felt so bad for me that happened.
What were they giving you?
Mr. Beast 06 gave you $500, and after that, Mr. Beast 0 something gave you 50K. I'm like, wait, what? I was totally speechless and baffled.
But at first, you're just like, wow, I just got gifted 50K on stream.
Exactly, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I hear on a certain moment, like, Wheezy and Nuggets in my head, Jerry, what the hell's going on? Look at my stream. Like, I know you're playing, but please look, because I can't speak right now. Like, I can never consider myself a lucky guy.
Right. So how did you end up
And
figuring out that it was you were bamboozled?
Wheezy just said like, "Hey, did you get a notification?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't hear anything. I was playing the game." But now that I think of it, I don't even have the payment, I think, set up for Streamlabs.
Oh.
So they just made it like the bar was like sideways, like somebody gifted something or did something.
Oh
Which
no.
And I had those two, Nuggies and Wheezy, look in the mod chat, and they're like, "We can't see anything." I'm like, "All right."
Oh no.
I reported them, and I actually sent Mr. Beast an email, like, not
Oh, the
hoping
real
for
life Mr. Beast.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Because there are people giving him a bad name at that point.
Yeah.
And like, it's not that I expect a reaction back or anything. No, I'm just like, hey, somebody's using your name to do bullshit on Twitch. I don't like it. And basically because Nuggies and the rest felt so bad the next stream, they just started gifting me subs and everything. And I was like, yeah, what are you guys doing? Stop it. And I was like, you know what? Since you're the top gifter to that person, like, what game do you want to see me get or play or whatever? And I put that also for a pull up. So I got a few games. Like, one of them was Command and Conquer Generals, Age of Empires, and the other two I can't even remember anymore. But I had a few games just for back. Basically, everything that I got went back into the stream with games. And with the last one, I got like extra attachments for my PC and a new keyboard and mouse. Because the old one was about 12 years old. So
definitely needed that upgrade, huh?
yeah.
And now, some slowly but surely rapid fire questions.
Jerry, are you ready?
I'm born ready, dude.
Oh, you're born ready for the rapid fire questions? All right, let's get
Let's
it. When did you first start wearing glasses?
High school, actually. I was always in the back of the class and I couldn't see the board, so they were like, sit in front. I'm like, no.
How many pair of glasses have you lost throughout your life?
5. My dog ate it, so it broke. I had an accident, so it broke. I lost my sunglasses in Thailand on vacation. And the other one went missing in a cab in Spain. And my last sunglasses are somewhere in Brazil.
What is the worst video game you've ever played?
I have to say Tetris.
Huh?
The
Why?
key one, because that's the one game I couldn't beat my mom with.
What is considered the worst dish you've ever cooked?
This might sound stupid, and I have a general problem making meatballs.
Huh.
And this is something I only told one friend of mine.
Sure.
Because I'm really ashamed for it. Like, I know how to make them, but for some reason they always or fall apart or they just break in the pan. Like, my sisters came over and like, "Oh, we're gonna eat meatballs." Yeah, I'm making meatballs. And at the end, where's the meatballs? We have potatoes with mincemeat. Enjoy.
Name me your 5 top professional wrestlers. Go.
Oof. CM Punk, definitely. The Rock. Although, yeah, Darby Allin at this point as well from AEW.
Okay.
He's amazing. Chris Jericho.
Okay.
And
One more, baby. One more, baby.
I'm think Randy Orton.
Okay.
Guys, theme song. Come on. I got it as my fucking ringtone, so I. Yes.
Do you know the lyrics
voices.
of the song?
If I hear the song, I can sing with it. I'm not gonna sing.
Oh, I'm
I
saying
tried it.
if you sing this, I'll sing it with you, man.
No, not gonna do it.
Can you name me a underrated movie?
Rise of the Foot Soldier.
That rings a bell.
Yeah, I mentioned it in Zero Discord a few times. Because it's a story that is it's a movie about a hooligan, a soccer hooligan. For you guys, for us, it's a football hooligan. Just saying.
Okay.
And he becomes a bouncer, gets involved with drugs, but doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And it's based on a true story, and I think that movie didn't get the props it deserved at that point.
What was it, the marketing or like just the star power?
Both. Like, I never heard of the movie. I just stumbled across it. I read the back of the movie. I'm like, hey, this sounds pretty good, and I watched it. And I watched it the moment I got it. Actually, that year I watched it over 9 times.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you know that a story is based on true events, it really makes a bigger impact.
Jerry, what is the worst movie that you've ever watched?
Maybe not the worst movie, but there's one movie I just could not get into.
Okay.
And that's The International.
Oh, with Clive Owen.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I kept falling asleep after 15 damn minutes every time. So
do you even know what it's about or no?
No, I just thought that the front page, the
poster,
the cover looked good, and I was like, okay, sure. And every time I fell asleep. So, but if
I couldn't even tell you what the movie's about either, man. I fell asleep too.
Point made.
As we're winding down here on our conversation here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, I gotta ask you: is there anything that you're looking forward to as a small goal you're looking to break by the end of the year, or something big that's coming by next year?
Well, there is something big coming up, and I hope that I'm gonna pull it off before the end of this year.
Okay.
Which you inspired me, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, like, hospitality is a thing, and everybody's like, oh, I can write a book about everything that happened. And with you doing this, I was like, hey, why not do a live stream with that, and maybe later chop it up for YouTube to make it a podcast as well after it. So basically, dude, this show that we were having right here, and then make it as well as a stream to a podcast.
Right.
And I'm working on that with Cow, and we got a lot of special guests coming up. Some that are really familiar with people who are in my streams.
Okay.
And some who pay a close eye, like you on Twitter, might notice that I'm having contact with certain people who also are streamers, but
right.
get involved with it.
Okay.
So I'm very excited for that. I just got my intro almost ready for linings.
Okay.
I'm looking for all the stuff that's gonna be in there, like new scenes, music, everything.
Wow.
So that's a thing, and well, yeah, of course, I'm hoping to get over the 300 by the end of the year, but seeing the progress that I make with my growth, I'm not making any high expectations.
Right.
So for my account, it could be that I'm at 280 at the end of the year. It could be that I'm back at 260. But as long as everybody has a good vibe and what they're seeing and that they're enjoying the stream, that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, as it should be. What would you think would be something that you would try something different to actually give you more an exposure to help you probably, garner growth and exposure?
Dude, I played Dream Daddies with Matt Guy. How much more different things do you want me to do?
I don't know. You can go on Instagram Live. You can start a Patreon or something like that. It's like something like more differently out of your element that you probably had like almost like a brainstorming concept. You're like, you know what? That might be a good idea, but I'm not sure how I can execute that.
True. Like we said before, I'm busy on TikTok making duets because I think it's fun. Like I said before, I might do an occasional promo or stuff for TikTok. Instagram Live isn't that much of a thing yet for me. I said it because you asked for my social feeds, and I'm planning, because as you can see, I already changed my name from Mr. Jero to Jerrytje TTV.
Yeah. And
one thing, and that's actually something I didn't mention, like, I did not promote myself until the 150 followers.
Okay.
And that's when I started to get about a little bit more active on Discord, a little bit more active on Twitter. And for about a month or two, I'm active on TikTok. Something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, that's, I think I'm going to go with that flow for now. But I'm still trying to see and how far can I go with almost no exposure. Like, the things that I post on Twitter are not like, hey, come and look at my channel. No, I'm just reacting to people or just having conversations.
Correct.
On occasion, there's a tweet like me going live, but that's it. It's not like I'm hyping myself up everywhere. Same with TikTok. I'm just having fun with people. When it comes at that point, yeah, sure. Hey, or when somebody needs help or reaches out to other streamers or gamers,
yeah,
I will react. But it's not really self-promo that I'm doing. Basically, you invited me for this because you wanted me to get that exposure.
And I think you've been doing so well just on your own with what you're doing, but thinking that perhaps networking as such, like for example on Instagram, doing the hashtags and postings like that, may just give you that little extra boost. But like currently right now, you do have that, which you're working with what you have, but as a sense of like, what's something that can actually help you probably garner more growth. That's a great way to look at things, and realistically too, because when you really think about it, networking is a powerful tool, and with that, like having more exposure, even if it's within our conversation too, like maybe one person gravitates over to just check you out and stuff like that, it will go a long way.
And I would lie if I say it was not the case. Like Matt Kai had a huge influence on my last year. Since I met her, I went to Twitter. I went to freaking TikTok. And that made me realize that, and I'm really grateful for doing so. And also, again, because of her, if I wouldn't jumped into that stream and vibe with her the way we did, I would not have met you probably, or not in this way.
Yeah, which is why when you mentioned about the inspiration, that I'm playing perhaps just a small role for you, and it's with that very humbled to hear that, because again, you just never know who you're inspiring or giving like mental notes of like, like I'll pick their brains and like try to see what I can actually mesh, and not making an identical like duplicate of what someone else is already doing, but like throw in your own spin and see what sticks, and I'm really am all for this, where you're making the attempts to make something different, nothing new, just not even just staying stale, but just like trying something different, because change is always good. Lots of people get too comfortable with their content, or like they're just comfortable where they're at, and like they don't know how much of a potential they have to grow, or to see that they can even go into higher tiers and such. But like yourself, Jerry, with those ideas and such like that, I do believe that it is possible for you, my friend.
Yeah, it might be, and we will see. And like, I'm very realistic in every aspect of that. Like, that's why I said, like, I could go back down, I could go up, and I'm just here for the ride and making new friends. Definitely a great experience. And if I can make people happy with the content that I provide, which 9 times out of 10 on this occasion, I have to be honest, like mostly it's just out of the blue. Same with the interview, you send me something to prepare, and like I can put something down and I can make a show out of it, but at the end of the day, people come for you, and then have fun with the game you play.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for someone who is maybe new coming over to your channel, how would you describe yourself and your channel as a whole to someone that's barely tuning in for the very first time?
Ooh, that's well, it can swing all kind of ways. So.
Oh, I know, but someone personally that's never tuned into you or your channel before, how would you describe it, my friend?
The channel is very open. Like, you can talk to me about everything and anything. But hey, there might be some cursing, there might be some happy times, there might be some bad times, but we're all in this together, and just enjoying the ride with everybody. And if you have something you want to know, something you want to see, I'm always open for it. And we're just having fun as much as we can, but still being respectful to others. And if not, do warn, there is some sort of zero tolerance policy going on for hate towards others. Hate towards me is like, we'll wipe it away, it's all good,
right?
But try to be respectful to other people and respect definitely people's opinions. You can talk about it, we can discuss it, but we're not gonna hate over it, we're not gonna fight over it. Nah, that's a no-go for me.
That's a good way to put it for someone to come by the very first time.
Yeah.
Jerry, I want to give you this moment in time, as we're just about moments away about ending the podcast episode for this week. Jerry, I want to give you the floor at this moment in time, where you can let everyone know once again who you are, where you're streaming at, what project's coming up pretty soon for you in the long run. And yeah, the floor is yours, Jerry. Please take it away.
So again, my name is Jerrytje. You can follow me on Twitch. Like, you can see the social underneath if you want. You can follow me there. Hey, it's not obliged. Like, I'm happy if you do. If you're not, I'm just hoping you have a great time here on the Slowpoke podcast, just saying. And for everybody that just wants to come in, join me in some games, feel free to talk about everything, the projects that are coming, for everybody who likes it, especially people that are in hospitality or been in hospitality. Me and Umko are going to do live stream with some special guests about being in hospitality in restaurants, snack bars, fast food chains. Every segment will get his own episode. So what is going on in that, what shenanigans and biggest bullshit we come across, because everybody knows you're not just in hospitality, you're a photographer and everything. So we're going to talk about that, and for the rest, we'll just keep on playing games, and if I can get my hands on a beta again, that one will kick in as well. So I just hope to see you guys on my channel, and for the rest, give some love to this man right there, because he needs it.
Hey, that's me. That is Jerrytje, everyone. I like to thank you, Jerry, so much for making the time to stop by here. Like I said, I really wanted season 2 to come on by with more hard-hitting questions, and just be truthful with what your answers, and I trust that with your answers that a lot of times people don't want to have these conversations, but it has to, in the realm of Twitch, in the realm of streaming in general, wherever it is, Facebook gaming, YouTube gaming, wherever it is, these things need to be talked about. And Jerry, I like to thank you for sharing your opinions, your straightforward answers, the rapid fire questions, and just all in all, being a good person, being a wonderful human being. And I'm glad that I got to know you through Madkai and through Zero, two streamers that I really love watching and tuning in and actually hanging out with. And I'm really hoping too to aim for both of those wonderful streamers to be on as well. But for you specifically, being the first one out of that small group that I really wanted to have you on, you have a wonderful voice. Please keep at it, man. I had something where I wanted to have like a little monologue for you to read to us or something, but I kind of want to give you like this little script to read to us in your in your voice.
Okay.
So
that's what.
Right. So what I would like to do before we end our conversation, I would like to give you a script. I'm going to give it to you through the Discord, where it's going to be like an announcer announcing a wrestler.
Here we go. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it's for the WWF European Championships from Anaheim, California. Weighing in at 162 pounds, SlowpokeFelitos. And the crowd goes wild.
Very good, man. Thank you so much for that, man. And now it's my turn. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Jerrytje over on Twitch. You can find the handles of socials on Twitter at Jerrytje, also on TikTok and on Instagram at TTVJerrytje. Jerry, what a wonderful conversation, what a wonderful episode we've had here on the season 2 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I cannot thank you enough for making the time, especially on a 9-hour difference of time zones here. Thank you so much.
It was definitely fun to be here, and I wouldn't have turned it down. Like I said, it's 3:30 a.m. here, and it was amazing. Thanks for having me, man. It feels amazing.
Thank you. I cannot wait for round 2. And guys, that's going to be it for us here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Once again, my name is SlowpokeFelitos. I'm a part-time streamer, part-time alcoholic, a seasonal Catholic, an official Lego Builder license holder, and a part-time podcaster.
And a speedy poke.
And a speedy poke, yes. That's going to be it for us, everybody. We'll catch you guys the next time. Adios!
Yeah.